Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Friday, February 7th, 2025. That is just about 5 years, almost, of Torah every single weekday morning, finding each other from across the world so we can learn together, we can help each other, we can support each other. Penny, it's good to see you. It is so good to know that you are there. We are broadcasting number 1236. Shush and Adele, it's good to see you. Anna, welcome. Nice to see all of you here on Facebook. It's nice to see Cecile and Anya, Andrew and Carl, Sandy and Dale, Debbie and Jack. It's good to see everybody. If I missed anyone, sorry, my screen jumped a little bit. Jonathan and Linda, Shari and Diane. Good to see you, Diane. I saw Stan just a moment ago, learning together. Susan and Deborah, welcome everyone. Patricia, Sunday, nice to see you. All right, let's take a breath. Barry and Lydia, Marcia and Deborah, good to see you. It is broadcast 1236, and it is day 490 of war. We're carrying all of that, and especially the hearts of those, please God, who will be back in our arms tomorrow. This is a complicated way to go through time, but please God, may it build with more and more health. Let's take a breath, sing a blessing, learn some Torah. Everybody, it is good to see you. I hope that you and yours are safe and well. We're getting ready for Shabbat. It has been a long week, and please God, this Shabbat we should have 3 more of our beloveds in our arms. We don't have the names of the 3 men who are supposed to be released tomorrow after 491 days of terror, but we pray for their souls, for their hearts, for their bodies, for their minds, and for their families who will, please God, be able to hold them again for the first time in a very, very long time. And we hold in our hearts, in our souls, in our prayers, and with our work, the families of those who have already received their loved ones back home, those who know they will not receive their loved ones back home, and those whose loved ones have not been on any list yet. There are 79 human beings still held by Hamas in tunnels for the last 490 days, and no matter what we point to, we are pointing directly to their hearts with our open hands. We are here as part of our people to learn Torah and to raise up everyone's spirits, even those we long to see, especially those we long to hold. So on this 1236th broadcast, on this 490th day of war, we're going to learn some Torah. And this Torah is meant to be a reminder, the most infinite of reminders you'll see in the text itself. And it's good. I see my Ima is here. Hi, Ima. Nice to see you. You'll appreciate this, I think. And now I'm going to be thinking of you as I teach it. In Parshat Beshalach, the Torah portion that we've been learning all week and we'll read in shul tomorrow morning, the Song of the Sea happens. But in order to get there, we need to leave Egypt. And the plagues have already happened. The final plagues happened in last week's Torah portion, Bo. But here we are running for our lives at the edge of the sea. And before we do that, we have promises to keep. I'm going to read you the third verse of this week's Parsha. If you'd like to look it up later, it's chapter 13, verse 19. The Hebrews, Vayikach Moshe et atzmot Yosef. Moses took Joseph's bones, imo, with him. Ki hashpea hishbia et bnei Israel lemor, because Joseph made our ancestors swear et bnei Israel lemor. Pakod yifkod Elohim etchem v'ha'alitem et atzmotai mizeitchem. You must remember me, and when God remembers you, you must bring my bones with you when you leave. It's an incredible moment of promise. At the end of Genesis, remember, Jacob dies, and his children bury him in the land of Canaan, in the cave of Machpelah, where the other matriarchs and patriarchs, not Rachel, are buried. But Joseph, when he dies, he is second in command to Pharaoh. There's no way that he will be able to leave. And so he makes his brothers, meaning the tribes, swear that when they are released, when God finally remembers them, which is its own very complicated theology, they will bring Joseph's bones. Now, there's a question here, which is, that's 400 years ago. Does anyone know where he's buried? And you might imagine, because of the ornate burial practices and the pyramids themselves and the sarcophagi of ancient Egypt, that they would know. But at least in our telling of the story and our understanding of biblical history, they don't. But one person does, and she's the one that I want to focus on just for a moment today. There's a woman by the name of Serach bat Asher, and in this I'm quoting from the Talmud. If you haven't studied Talmud, it's around the year 600 CE. It is an important and very broad description of Jewish imaginative rebuilding on the part of the rabbis, which can be a model for our own rebuilding. I'm just going to read you the text here, and then we'll talk about it. From where did Moses know where Joseph was buried? How did he find Joseph's bones to fulfill the promise, without which we'd never be able to leave? We swore we wouldn't leave Joseph behind. The sages said that Serach bat Asher, that Serach, the daughter of Asher, was of the generation that went down to Egypt in Genesis. And you might say, well, where do they get this from? Interestingly enough, in the text, Serach bat Asher is listed as one of Jacob's family members when they go down to Egypt. That's in Genesis. And then she is listed in our Parsha, in the story of the Exodus. She somehow is mentioned twice in 400 years. You might say, oh, that's just the text jumping around. But no, not in the rabbinic imagination. She lived the entire time, and she remembered. I want to say something and then get back to the text. Sometimes you have to live a long time to remember what it is to keep a promise. I remember right after October 7th, journeying to Israel with a group of rabbis from New York. UJA sent us to be representatives of our people, to bring strength and love and Torah and our eyes and our witness to the immediate aftermath of October 7th. And we sat with Rena Quint, a beautiful human being, survivor of the Shoah, a great-grandmother and a storyteller, an incredible person. And I remember sitting in a room interviewing her, and on my other side, were two other people, Rachel and Jonathan Goldberg Polin. It was day 27, day 20. And Rachel had just started the practice of putting the piece of tape on her shirt. We were there, and I was sitting between a witness and people who were becoming witness, and I felt all of history conflate. The name for this in the ancient world is Serach Bat Asher, because she knew the promise that we made, and only through her witness were we able to fulfill it. Rena Quint represents, and in that day, in that moment, represented with power, precision, incredible love, what it was to be there, because I watched her give love to Rachel and Jonathan before everything else. And I know that Elie Wiesel was right, that being witness to a witness makes one a witness. Now it's you and me. I've told you the story. I've told you the story. What now? You've heard the story. What does that do to you? So I'm going to read you the rest of the text. Remember, the original question is, how did Moses know where to find Joseph's bones? Well, there was a woman, Serach Bat Asher, who remained from that generation, and Moses went to her and said, Moses said, "Do you know anything about where Joseph is buried?" She said, "Yes, the Egyptians fashioned a metal casket for him and put it in the Nile River, so that the river would be blessed." Joseph represents abundance, especially with the Nile's support of agriculture. So she brought Moses to the site, and listen to what Moses said. "Joseph, Joseph, the time has arrived about which the Holy Blessed One took an oath and said, 'I will redeem you.' V'hotzeti v'hitzalti v'ga'alti v'lakachti. I will take you out, I will save you, I will take you to me, and I will redeem you." It came time for us to be free. And the time for the fulfillment of the oath that you made us take, that we will bury you, we will take your bones with us. If you show yourself, good. But if not, we are cleared from the oath. And immediately the casket of Joseph floated to the top of the water. Joseph didn't get to see the freedom himself, but we took him with us. We leave no one behind. Our freedom, the understanding of freedom, is when all of us are free. The requirement to be true to our covenant as a people, lihiyot am chofshi be'artzenu, to be a free people in our land. As we march to freedom through a sea that we did not know would split, we carried with us our history. We carried with us our ancestors, and we remembered through testimony, through ancient testimony that won the battle of time, that it is our obligation to carry our ancestors with us. So as we go into the Shabbat, where, please God, 3 more of our family will be in our arms, let us be mindful of our obligation to be true to the promise to our ancestors. Some of us have been wearing this. We have been wearing this. This is the promise. Our whole heart, yes, our hearts remain broken, but the rebuilding work is immense and beautiful and holy. I can only tell you that as I learn more and more about UJA's involvement with the tribe of Nova and its survivors, with the rehabilitation of injured Israelis, the mental health of hostages, the support of municipalities to make healthy decisions about memorializing without becoming victims in our own conscience, the work we do here in New York to support Jewish community, to support general New York community, to support survivors of domestic violence, those who struggle with food insecurity, those who are seeking safe refuge as immigrants in our world. We are doing this work, friends, and we are doing more and more of it. And what I want to make sure we do is we remember that it is an ancient oath that we are fulfilling in modern ways. I want to say that again. It is an ancient oath that we are fulfilling in the most modern of ways. Serach bat Asher lived for 400 years just so we would be able to keep our promises. Rena Quint is a modern sage. She is Serach bat Asher, and I say with tears in my eyes, Rachel Goldberg Polin is a worthy inheritor of this mantle. The test now is, will we be? And I know, friends, I know that our heart's answer is very clear. We will. We demand nothing less than dignity for our family, and we don't leave anybody behind. We learned that from our ancestors, and now it's our promise to fulfill. So I wish us a Shabbat of singing. This is Shabbat Shirah, a song where we sing about freedom. Well, that march was anything but simple. The march to freedom is often accompanied by water barely being held back. Well, that's what it is to walk. Let us march. Let us do it together, and let's carry our family in our hearts, on our shoulders, in our minds, and with our arms until everybody is free, until the very last hostage comes home, so we can get back to the work of being a light in the world for others, because we are able, because we deserve it, to live safely and free. May the memory of Serach bat Asher be a blessing. May the fulfillment of Joseph's promise be in our minds, our hearts, and our souls, and our deeds as we move forward toward freedom. Take a breath with me. We're getting ready for Shabbos. It's Shabbat Shirah. We got to sing a little bit. So I'm going to pick up my guitar. Let's sing a song, and then we'll sing Hatikva as we go into Shabbat. All right. Chana, you're in Jerusalem. Do a little dancing for us. All right, friends, with all your heart, Liot am chofshi be'artzenu. Let's sing. Kolon balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima Ayin Letzion Sophia עוד לא עבדה תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you on Monday, my friends. Shabbat Shalom.